Hello, good people. Welcome to our show. Hello, bad people. Welcome to our show. Hello, welcome. Guys, we are going today to discuss more about SEO. We are going to touch topics about personalization because I don't know how to win today without personalization. It doesn't matter what kind of SEO you do, link building, content, it doesn't matter. You need to personalize your message to customers and to win them, to retain as much as possible. I'm so excited to discuss a lot more with Isa Lavahun. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Doing great. Looking forward to learn more about that. For me, it's important to get new skills. I'm working in SEO in many years. Many things change, and when I started my journey, I didn't consider personalization. I want
Mhm.
to be honest because that was simple to cheat the system, to game, to manipulate algorithms. Today, I can't ignore it. I can't ignore. It doesn't matter what I do. If I do link building, email marketing, PR, anything, I need to personalize my message. If I create content, I do it as well. For example, once I helped one project, online games, and according to average data, almost youngsters play online games, like Gen Z. Uh, but on these games, card games, only adults played like plus 50 years. And we didn't personalize the message. We got a bad user experience. Then to started to research more to understand. Oh, no way! Our audience is consists from adult people, so we need to personalize message for them. So many things. It's very important today. Isa, before we start, just tell more about your self experience, background, about your positive mindset, about your smile, and anything that can help our listeners to learn more about you.
Yeah, of course. So, yes, my name is Isa. I have been in SEO for about 100 years. No, about 15 years. So I've been in it a very long time. I've worked or started working for an agency, learned all my craft there. My specialism lies in content and sort of outreach and link building, PR, comms, all that kind of stuff. I very much come into SEO from sort of two ends. One is obviously search, driving online visibility for your website, but the other part of it is for it to make sure that it works hand in hand with brand. Your website is part of your brand is part of your website, and actually they should work really well together. And that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of going to be talking about personalization, because that's really entwined in your branding essentially.
Yeah, nice. I like your experience, and I have a bunch of questions to you. For me, it's important to know how to do it, how to handle the process, especially in PR, link building, in email marketing. I don't know how to win today without personalization.
Mhm.
We can find a bunch of templates, and I use them, but I personalize. I have just the frame. I can start from this frame and personalize as much as possible. So I use even personalization for getting speakers on my podcast. I spoke with Neil Patel, Rand Fishkin, Craig Campbell, Lily Ray, Jeff Coyle, many great experts because of personalization, of spending time to learn recipients before reaching out. And I want to ask you how to do it without experience. For example, if I want to start any link building, it doesn't matter what kind of link building, PR, tell how to start learning recipients before sending any message.
Okay, so first thing is, at the end of the day, Google follows audiences. We as SEOs follow Google, we follow Google algorithm, and actually all Google does is follow its audience and try to give the audience what it wants. So I think before even any kind of thing is to take a step back and do a bit of persona insight and do like who your customers are. And what we do kind of in marketing is we sort of sit in a room, as in traditional marketing, sort of when how you sort of started first of all with marketing, just like here's a product that we're selling. Who are our customers? A, B, C. Let's kind of target and go out to them. Actually, when we're in the search world, you can find out so much more about who your customers actually are by search demand and the kind of queries people are asking. So instead of just having an ABC in terms of your customer base, I think the first thing to do is kind of take a step back and actually really find out number one, who your customer is. And yes, absolutely, your core customer is very, very important. But secondly, who else can you widen the reach to based on the kind of content and kind of comms and messaging that you send out? So who else is your product or service going to help that you're not actually thinking about in the first hand? And it's thinking about how you personalize your message, basing it on different audiences that you could actually reach to without it being at the first thought.
Yeah, and can you share how to learn customers? Because I think it's important to learn as much as possible. But for me, we need to find the balance between quality and quantity. For example, I can't send one email per day for link building goals because I think even one day it's not enough to learn about recipients. But if I spend so much time to do it, I can get great results. I think it's important to have this balance between spending time and learning. I know some link builders can do it for 5 minutes, someone can do it for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It depends on experience, but tell your insights how to do it. I mean, and how much time to spend for that.
Okay, so if we're talking about, so obviously one end is talking about your audience, and then second of it is talking about, so from a PR point of view, is knowing the journalist, right? The publishers
Yeah.
and the writers. So how I do it, and the thing is, obviously there is different forms of link building, and I'm not here to kind of say that this is absolutely the only way you should do it, but the way I do it is from very much that PR background. And how we do it in sort of PR world is getting to know the journalist. So if I'm going to send an email to national news, let's say, I wouldn't just blanket send them one email to all the news giants thinking it's going to get to them. I would do like 4 or 5 different template emails suiting different types of journalists. So let's say, for instance, for example, I'm working with a client who they kind of deal with debt management. Yeah. And they're writing a campaign about how to avoid Christmas debt. So obviously we're in Christmas, people are spending lots of money. People are probably going to spend too much money. We're in a cost of living crisis. And actually, people are probably going to it's true that a lot of people are probably going to get into debt because they're spending too much money, right? So we're creating a story around that. And then as the client is kind of deals with debt management, they're creating top 10 tips on how to kind of, not get into debt over Christmas, right? You've got that as the main story, but then who are you going to send that to if you're kind of going to do outreach? You don't just send one blanket email because there's potentially 5 different audiences. So one is people who write finance blogs, finance sections of national tabloids. So it will be the kind of money journalists. So money finance journalists would be one audience, right? Another one would be family parenting, because obviously a lot of parents feel the pressure, right? They feel the pressure to spend money on their kids and make their kids the first Christmas. So then you would tailor another kind of outreach to kind of family out there, right? Another one would be sort of charities. So there may be loads of different charities out there. They're kind of dealing with, people who are kind of dealing with poverty. And then you as debt management could come in and go, okay, if you're kind of needing to spend Christmas on a budget, here's how you can do Christmas on a budget. And then you would have more sort of the national big newspapers. They're going to be talking about Christmas anyway, because obviously Christmas is here. So then you would be talking at it more from a statistic point of view, like how many people in the UK are spending money, how many people spent money last year, and here's how you could avoid, coming into debt. So as you can see already, in terms from an outreach point of view, there's 4 different kind of email templates that you should be creating to send out. If you just create one blanket email, I'm not saying there's zero chance that you might not get a coverage and you might not get conversion, but actually you're decreasing your chances of getting coverage because you're not personalizing your message to all these different journalists. So that's how I would kind of look at it and do it.
Yeah, I have a lot more questions about PR, and personally, I love people who have background in PR because all these experts know how to bring something new, valuable. They don't care about rewriting. It doesn't work, especially in PR, and it doesn't work in SEO. You need to bring something new, valuable. And journalists never publish something generic. You can't cheat them. These guys are so smart, to figure out if it's. And I want to be honest. When I started my PR, I failed. I failed many times. I can't count how many times I wrote a bunch of press releases. I pitched all of them, and I got zero mentions, zero results. But I acquired experience how it works. I learn and practice for a long time. Then one of our PR campaigns got plus 50 links and mentions from big resources like CNN,
Wow.
Bloomberg, investing.com, because we can help a lot of clients in investing trading niche. And we got like plus 10 backlinks. Not backlinks, mentions. In most cases, mentions, because it's tough to get
Of course.
backlink from CNN. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care a lot. It's link or or a mention, because if you get any mention from CNN, it works a lot. It helps a lot. So, and I want to ask about crafting the right PR message. And for example, I learned a lot from Ferry Kazoni. He's good with that. And what I found, he can simplify this message. He doesn't share a lot of insights, but he's good with sharing very simple, unique message. Short study, very short study about trending topic, and share some tips to submit expert quote. I tried, I failed to get results like this. It doesn't mean that we need to use only one style, and I found many PR specialists can
Yeah.
play with their formats. How we did differently, we hired experts who can post content on great publications like Forbes, Investopedia. So we reach out to them, agreed about the price, and they usually write press releases. We submitted, we played with format, and today, yeah, we get great results. It's like our main link building strategy. So tell, for someone who is not familiar, how to do it, how to research the topic for journalists, because we started to share that it's important to personalize the message for customers. Then for right now we switch attention to journalists, but it's part of the process. So tell how to write this press release that journalists wanna publish.
Right. I personally think journalists are less likely to sort of post press releases as they are.
Yeah.
Essentially, I've actually been to many talks with journalists who tell us how their days are and what they look for. They're very, very time poor. So essentially, the way you need to look at yourself as an outreach PR specialist is that you if say there's a journalist that's running out the door, you're outside the door and you've got everything that they need to go and write their story. So it's that them kind of picking it up from you and going and writing about it. So you need to make life as easy for them as possible. They don't have time to read really long, information. They don't have time to kind of go out and find and sort of tie the knot. You need to do everything for them, and then they'll go, thank you, I'll take this package, and then use you as a kind of resource or citation. So I would say every time you kind of do it, with a journalist, is make everything short and very, very snappy. I don't think personally journalists pick up press releases, because if they do, they're not really doing their job. You are giving them information for them to take that and then convert it into a story. So essentially what you're doing is you're giving them information to give credit and credibility, and to give a bit of sort of background information to the story that they're writing about. Because the thing with journalists, they're not experts in anything. They just write the news, right? So if you're an expert in anything, or you've got data that kind of expands the story or the narrative that they're trying to share, and you can present it to them in a really digestible way. This is the thing that's super important. You can have loads of information, loads of data. You can be an expert, but if you're not kind of getting that across in a really clear, concise, digestible way, journalists do not have the time or the sort of bandwidth to kind of do it. So I think, in simplest form, think about how you make life easier for them. For us, we want to set, here's our product, here's our client, mention them. They're not going to think about, that's not going to help them. It's thinking about how we help them and what we can give to them. And when you think in that mindset, you're more likely to create content and create assets that they're more likely to kind of pick up a lot quicker.
Nice. Yeah, love it, love it. Let's talk about, I want to ask your thoughts about why people still are sending this spam messages, templates, because it's frustrated when I open my email every single day. I get plus 100 messages. Of course, I found the way how to handle. I usually lead them to my spam inbox, the best place where they can spend time together, and I usually can figure out by reading headline. For me, it's enough to understand it's spam or not in headline. If I can't, then I can open, and for a few seconds I can understand. Oh, no, it's a new spam. Let's ignore it, or delete, or spam inbox. It doesn't matter. So tell how to do it right today. If we need to reach out many recipients, but how to do it right, don't create this feeling it's template that related to many other spam messages, and because it's not only about email. I get totally the same messages on LinkedIn, on other social media, and sometimes I can ignore LinkedIn messages for a few weeks because for me it's tough to recognize whether are good messages or not. So your tips how to do it right.
How to send mass emails, basically.
Yes, how to send a lot of emails, but personalized experience, to satisfy intent recipients like me, who are busy. I have like 20 minutes a day to check my email, and I don't care if someone can tell, look I know you're a specialist in fashion, let me help you with that. Me, my t-shirt costs like $5. I'm not specialist in fashion. I don't know, guys, why you are sending me such messages. You don't know me. I don't know how you found my email even like this. So
yeah, I mean, I think the first thing, again, this would be about taking a step back. How do you create a media list when you've got a campaign? Like, where do you get the idea that you think this person is going to be interested in your campaign? What is the reason you've got that person on your list? So I think that's, people always think it's all about quantity. Let's get 500 email addresses and send it out. It is absolutely not about that. Yes, you do have to send a high volume of emails to get results. Absolutely. I don't disagree with that. But I think you need to make sure that people that are on there are, number one, relevant to what you're doing. And then number two, I think is exactly what I was saying before. It's about segregating your email into templates. So I think for a massive big campaign that you're doing, you should have more than one template. You should have 3, 4, 5 templates, and then you should put different people in different lists. So exactly as I was saying, if you're someone that's an SEO that's into podcasting, or an SEO that's into link building, or SEO that's into video content, whatever your campaign is saying, you need to be making sure that that messaging is particularly based on what that particular publisher, journalist is interested in. So let's say I have a piece of research, right? And I have 5, 10 statistics, right? Not all those statistics are going to be relevant to every single one I'm going out to. So I'm only going to pick the stats or the information or the data that's going to be relevant to that audience. Yes, I'll include the press release at the end that has everything, but then what I'll make sure to do is find the information that's more relevant to that person I'm sending it out to, so they don't have to look at it and then read a whole bunch of stuff to find something that they're interested in. So let's say I sell fitness equipment, for instance. If I'm selling fitness equipment and I'm selling into, I don't know, women's lifestyle or mother and baby lifestyle, I'd be sending it talking about stats about how you can start exercising. 30% of the research that I've done has said that, women who've had children can start going to the gym, approximately 3 months after having a baby. If that's one of the stats, they're not going to be interested in any of the other fitness related kind of data. It's nothing to do with them. They're just going to be interested in that one stat or 2 stats. What you do is take the key information relevant to that audience, and then you filter through who you're going to send that to into different lists. So that would be the most important thing. Then you use that information to create whatever your email headline is going to be, that's going to be relevant to the topics that they write about. So I think that would be the easiest way. Go to your media list, make sure that who you've got on your media list actually will be interested in your campaign. Split your list into different audiences or different publications that are going to be interested in different parts of your campaign, and then tailor your template accordingly. Then once you've tailored your template, then you can send out in a mass kind of, multiple kind of emails at one time.
Awesome. So valuable. Uh, I can speak about this topic for a few days. Guys, if you have a lot of questions about that, you can follow Isa on social media, on LinkedIn. Keep learning. But I want to switch my attention to your main direction, search strategy. For me, it's very important because I see when companies use their own strategy and can waste like for a few years. And I often see it when someone can come to me and ask, please help me. I don't know what's going on. I spent like 2 years, but I can't get results. And when I see their strategy, it's, I don't know, it's like chasing high volume keywords without understanding your customers. For example, once I got 16K for my consultancy service for online games. And what I did first, I didn't learn audience. I started to play these games. I want to understand why people are playing these games.
Yeah.
Then my son saw me and told me, "What's going on? You told me it's better to read books. You told me you never play online games. Why you are playing games?" I replied to him, I got 16K for that. What? I play all my life and nobody can pay me even a penny. I always play for games. So yeah, and for me, it's important to understand the product. Then I can learn customers, audience, and you mentioned, for example, examples about fitness. So can you tell how you do it? I mean, like, do you start to use some fitness programs, I don't know, or consume any other supplements related to fitness? So let us know how you learn products before learning even customers.
Yeah, so I think in terms of doing that, there's kind of two sides to it. There's obviously sort of the brand strategy, and then your search strategy has to align with that. So obviously phase one would be sort of the brand immersion, what you were talking about, which is going in and actually testing the product, getting involved, really becoming a customer and really kind of having a feel of what that is. So, if you're any kind of marketer, you're also going to be a consumer. So I think the first thing is kind of to put your consumer hat on. And even if you're not the audience for that product or service, you need to then kind of think how, as a customer, I would do that. Then I do a whole bunch of search and social listening. So by search and social listening, things like Answer the Public, I use Google Trends, obviously. I use Quora, if I'm saying it right, Quora, Reddit, and just find out what people's bugbears are. I think that's the key thing. Instead of becoming, it's been proven that if you go as any kind of brand and you're selling and you kind of have a very salesy message, consumers are very smart now. They're not going to listen to you. And also it's very, very, very saturated. So I think instead of doing that, you want to help customers with their problems. And it's thinking about how I can help customers with the problems that they're asking online, right?
Yeah.
So what I would do is look at social listening. So let's say let's go back to the fitness equipment, right? And this is kind of, again, for like a sort of case study that I've done before. So say it's fitness equipment. You kind of think fitness equipment, and I think the first kind of initial thing you think about is maybe personal trainers, gyms, PTs, or people who are sort of very savvy and very sports minded. It's essentially, you're really going to think about who that's going to be your key customer. But actually, if you do social listening and you kind of type in, fitness equipment for, you would have fitness equipment for over 50, fitness equipment for people who've had an injury and in hip rehabilitation, fitness for mental health, fitness equipment for pregnant women. You've already got 4 or 5 topics just by seeing what people are searching for, right? You already know that could potentially be a customer if you are kind of just doing that sort of search and social insight. Then once you sort of look at that search insight and what people are sort of typing and searching for, what keywords are coming up, then you use kind of social media. So whether it's TikTok, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, you kind of just listen out. You're listening at what questions people are asking each other, what questions people are asking your competitors, what questions people want answered that other brands and your competitors aren't answering. And that's how you start thinking about sort of your search strategy. Now, obviously, in terms of how you prioritize and what kind of narrative and campaign and content you create around that. Yeah, I wouldn't say, start writing content that has one search volume a month, obviously. But then writing content that is, the highest search volume isn't exactly the right strategy either, because you're going to be competing with so many people who are already so far ahead of you. So the kind of key is somewhere in the middle, where you're finding kind of search queries or terms or kind of problems that people want answered, or that have got kind of some sort of search volume, but that you can answer in a unique way. So you can give that answer to differently than maybe your competitors can. And that's kind of going to be your USP. That's going to be what's going to make you stand out to others. And that's how I would prioritize what I push as a brand, or as a website. So that would be the kind of key thing in how I would prioritize my kind of search strategy. Then obviously, with whatever website you have, the most important, can Google find it? Is it structured in the right way? When people go on your website, are they enjoying it? Are they having a good user experience? Have you laid it out and structured it in a way that people can understand it and navigate through it easily? Is your content engaging? Is your content helping anyone? Is your content of use? Is your content saying something that's different to your competitors? And then obviously the third and final one would be like making sure you get that message out there, and making sure that people are coming to you and linking to you and socially sharing your content. And it's thinking about all the different ways you can do that via, whether it's link building, PR, comms, branding, email, anything that you can do to kind of drive people back to your website. And that would be kind of the final piece of the sort of puzzle, I would say.
Yeah, I think you learned a lot about fitness equipment, because I see how you look, so you're in good shape. So I think you learned this topic better than anybody else. So yeah, I wanna ask about priorities. You mentioned, how to research, how to understand, and for me, it's important to have priorities. And for example, I often see when someone can add to content plan like 100 topics, but having 1 2 copywriters in a team, and usually tell them it's not good idea. We can't create a lot of content at scale if we speak about quality. Quality takes time, and less but quality is key. But if you wanna cover all topics, it's not good idea. And you mentioned about sales funnel, that content should sell. Yeah, if I understand. And for example, once I spoke with a webmaster who lost 400,000 traffic, but he didn't lose any sales. So he got a lot of traffic and he couldn't convert this traffic. So the traffic was not related to his products. And I think it's a good idea to create less content, but quality and content that can cover sales funnel, help customers in their buying journey, where you can submit your call to action to sell something. Because if you get traffic, I don't care about traffic, likes, comments, if I can't sell. So the main goal is to sell. So tell your methods, how to prioritize things and how to figure out that content is related to sales funnel.
Cool. So then in that way, then you kind of look at it the other way around. So whatever product or service you have, you literally, again, go back to the brand immersion, going, what am I selling? How is it helping people? How is it making people's lives easier? And how am I changing their life? And I know obviously that kind of seems a bit like, spiritual and all that kind of stuff, but you really do need to think about it from that personal way. Like, how am I kind of going to improve the customer? And then that's how you sort of prioritize the content, as well as obviously what we've talked about in terms of finding out who your audiences are. That's how you kind of figure out what content you're going to get. Then the next thing is like, obviously, in SEO world, we're big fans of, nice 2,000 words, 1,000 word content, right? And the reason why we've been sort of, focused and kind of to do it that way, it's because that's what Google likes, right? That is how Google can tell that you are an expert in a certain field, because you write loads and loads of content on your website and Google can read it. Great. However, the customer has changed over the years. You know, the internet isn't the same as it was when Google first came about in 1997. That at that time it was literally a web page with a list of links that you went to that was useful to you. We all think and act so differently now. So I think you got to, in terms of that sales funnel and creating content, we need to adapt and adapt it to how customers are now. So for instance, you know, our attention span is so much shorter now. I think the average person, last time there was something said about this, like 8-second attention span. So sometimes it's not about 1,000-word, you know, content or blog post. Sometimes if it's a how-to, it's a 1-minute video or 2-minute video or a step-by-step guide in kind of bullet points, or some kind of graphic to kind of show you how to do something. If I'm, so I think the other day, I was at my parents' house and the gas, the boiler broke, right? And I was really just trying to find out, how do I fix, I can see this problem F25 is coming on the screen. How do I fix this? And when I was searching for it, all the kind of results that was coming with like a long 1,000 word, it was not useful to me. I'm not an expert in fixing a boiler. I don't know. I'm the kind of that really bottom level customer that has any kind of understanding for that topic. So what would have helped me at that point is a quick 30-second, 40-second video that says, when you have an S75 in your boiler, that probably means one of two things, this, and this. That for me would have been so much more useful than, you know, 1,000-word blog post with a 1,000-word guide. And I think that's how we need to think about it from a sales funnel point of view. What sort of content is going to make that consumer or that potential consumer really trust you as a brand and really get to know that you know what you're talking about?
Yeah.
And number two, what's going to make them remember you? Because I think when you think about the sales funnel, you're not always going to get content conversion straight away, right? Sometimes you will, but actually a lot of the time it will be the first time that consumer is introduced to you as a brand. So you need to create any kind of content that makes you memorable, that they then know, oh, okay, the next time I need, say like if that video with the boiler, it was like, you know, they're the company that go and find plumbers in your area. Let's say that's what the company did, right? And if I've gone to that company and found that video that was really useful to me, the next time I think, oh, I need a plumber, I know that I'm going to go back to that brand because they were so helpful to me with that kind of video. I know actually I do trust them. I'm going to go back to them. So when you're thinking about that sales funnel, that's what's super, super important in terms of what content is going to help a consumer as quickly as possible, as relevant as possible, and also that's going to be memorable. That's going to make them kind of think of you for the next time. And I think the closer you get to that, the more you're likely to get a converting customer. That's not to say I disagree with long form content. I don't. And sometimes there is need for it. And sometimes you do need it. And of course, to a certain extent, you do need it for Google to kind of, you know, find you, recognize you. But I think it isn't the be all and end all. So you really need to be thinking about how you can get that customer to trust you based on the kind of format of content that you create.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, love it. And you remind me of my personal story when I searched on Google about Tesla. And I tried to buy a new Tesla. I was curious, can I use this self-drivers feature in Florida? And I couldn't find the answer on Google. So I spent time. I got a lot of content, long content, but I need a simple answer.
Thank you. That's it.
Yeah, and you know what I did? I came to Bart and asked this question to get reply for a few seconds. So I think when someone can tell that AI bots come with Google, I'm not sure about that. If I get answer for a few seconds on chat bots, I think AI bots can tell some part of the trade. It's possible because chatbots can reply to some questions in simple way, very fast, and sometimes better. Of course, we have some inaccurate results. I agree, but it's only beginning. Who knows?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I want to ask about okay, let's forecast the future. If we started to speak about that, and I think SEO usually do it a lot, to forecast the future. We get these questions from customers. Uh, how much traffic I can get, how many sales I can get. I usually reply, it depends. I don't know. It depends on you, not me. I can lead you in the right direction, but if you don't create high quality content, nobody can help you. Marketers, the best experts can help you. For example, if someone wants to lose weight, you can find the best nutritionists, you can find the best experts. But if you don't eat healthy food, if you don't drink water and train hard, you can't. You can't.
Absolutely.
Nobody. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Let's speak about how to learn foreign language, French. How you can learn French without spending time to learn French. Experts can tell. Okay, you can go this direction. You need to read, to listen, to learn. I don't know. It depends, but you need to do
You
this
need
job
to do it.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
totally agree.
yeah, and I wanna ask your prediction about the future. I think uh, I disagree. When someone can tell SEO will be never dead. Everything has the end, but it takes time,
Mhm,
probably decades to change habits. Most
mhm,
people don't change habits fast. But
mhm,
today, according to data, 12% of people use AI bots to get replies, as I did,
mhm,
because I was not satisfied with Google.
mhm,
It's not the first time.
mhm.
I often ask many questions on ChatGPT, on Bard.
Yeah.
I even speak with this tool more often than with my wife, because
Yeah.
a lot of questions. So tell your prediction about the future and how we can adapt to this possible future.
So yes, I mean, obviously the future. Funnily enough, it's so funny you said that about chatbots. I actually recently did a talk about how TikTok is taking Google market share
Yeah.
because 40% of Gen Zs don't even use Google for their search queries. They now go straight to TikTok, and then yeah, obviously chatbots. Same thing. So what is that telling you? The big thing that's telling you is the whole mindset, the behavior change of speed. We want things quickly. We want things yesterday. We want
Yeah.
things answered as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And Google needs to catch up to that. So obviously, Google's got its own chatbot. So I think that's going to definitely be some part of its search kind of evolution using chatbot when people are searching. I think, like I say, with voice search, hasn't actually taken off as much as they probably thought it would. But I think incorporating their kind of AI chatbot when people search queries is going to be some sort of what the future of sort of SEO is. I also think and this is kind of what I was saying before, social media and search need to kind of merge at some point. I don't know how it's going to do it, but it doesn't make sense to me that if I'm searching how to fix my how to fix the tire of my car, if there's a YouTube video or a TikTok video that really answers that's got tons and tons of likes and shares, I don't understand why that doesn't come at the top of our search results. Yes, if you click videos, it comes up, but actually, if that's the best answer, why isn't that emerging the SERPs? Why is it a long form content from a year, 2 years ago? So I think there needs to be some sort of merge of how social media engagement, shares, kind of gets into sort of not just Google, but gets into the search engine psyche. Now, I will say there's a caveat to that, which is, credibility and misinformation. I think the social platforms like TikTok, Instagram, to some extent YouTube, need to find a way of making sure that whatever information we're putting out, because everyone now is an
Yeah.
expert, right? Yeah, if I have, a camera, I can come here and say that I'm an astronaut and read from the internet. And if I do it in a convincing way, some people might believe me, right? So
Yeah.
obviously that needs to be sorted out in terms of how social platforms validate and sort of back and sort of fact check information that's user generated information essentially. I think there is a way to do that, and I think there will be a way to automate that. Once that's done, I think Twitter at the moment, when someone tweets something or X, if Twitter believes it's not accurate, there's now a note where you kind of see actually the information that's been tweeted here might not be right. I think if other social platforms do that, um, it could be then be a way for Google to kind of merge that with some sort of in terms of the search results. And also then the final thing, again, back to where we started from the beginning, which is personalization, right? I think we all search in a different way. We all want different things. We all want different things at a different speed. So my friend was telling me that so she's going traveling in December with her family. They're going away for a few 2-3 weeks. And I went traveling last year. So when I was looking for my information, I just went on TikTok. I listened to my 1 minute, sort of videos, and I got my information. Whereas my friend said that she was watching 10-minute videos on YouTube while she was plaiting her daughter's hair. So then that shows you that two different audiences that have got two different timescales of when they're looking for information. And I think sort of search and social platforms probably need to think about how they attract those different audiences at those times with the content that they serve them. I might have some time and want to listen to a 15-minute video, or I might have some time and want to read, long form content because I'm in the mood to do that. But sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just want an answer very, very quickly. So I think future gazing, it has got to be about speed and accuracy and relevancy at a quickest pace. Because at the moment, whatever is winning, whether it be chatbots, whether it be TikTok, seems to be winning based on giving people answers quickly, clearly, and kind of with key relevancy, kind of in real time, essentially. So I think it lies in that.
Nice. I love it. Yeah. And I think if content creators have experience to create high quality content for SEO, they can adapt to any channel, to TikTok, to AI bots. You can adapt because marketing is a quickly changing world. So marketers on TV and radio didn't lose their jobs. They adapted to digital. We can adapt, but it's important to have this experience to acquire, to play with new channels, to think how you can adapt. And SEO doesn't teach how to rank high. Of course it teaches, but SEO teaches how to create high quality content, how to earn backlinks that will bring traffic, create brand awareness. So it's not only for SEO goals that we know, like to rank high on Google. Many things SEO can help. I have my final question. I always ask this question because of two people. The first person is student who's looking for ways how to learn from scratch, how to become an expert in one day. The second, founders who have websites, they want to rank to get results, but before finding the right experts, they need to learn the basic to understand how it works. And from my experience, I get great results with people who understand how SEO works. So if they don't, I usually tell, okay, take my course, learn on Google, YouTube, it doesn't matter. Just get the basic. Then we understand why we need to create high quality content, what kind of content to create, why it's important to think about traffic value then to get more traffic, many things. So I want to ask you, if you started today from scratch without any experience, knowledge, skills, it's your first day in SEO. What will you do today if you started from scratch to get great results in the future?
From scratch. Wow, very good question. So I would say if I was to start, and then again, this is me coming from, a sort of more brand comms kind of experience. I would say start there. Think about yourself as a customer. So if you're Googling something, you literally have the experience and you think about you're Googling something and then follow that journey. So if you're like, oh, I need to book a holiday home, or I need to buy a new pair of sneakers, actually go through that, right? And then discover what was number one or what was in the top, page, and then kind of find out if you find that information useful. Really think about yourself as a customer first. Then once you've done that, again, I would definitely say any kind of sort of like whether it's SEO Moz, whether it's Ahrefs, whether it's all the kind of sort of SEO tools have got tons and tons and tons and tons of free sources on YouTube, like literally tons and tons. But what I would say, I think one mistake that we make as SEOs is me kind of saying, I work in marketing. Okay, are you email experts, CRM, are you PR, are you brand, are you like, no one would ever, if I kind of say I work in marketing, no one would ever expect me to know everything in marketing. And I think SEO should kind of have the same
Of course.
mindset. Yes, you need to understand the fundamentals of how SEO works. I know absolutely, I wouldn't say nothing, but me and tech SEO, been doing it 15 years, and I wouldn't know if my website crashed, I wouldn't even know where to start. So I think thinking about what you want to specialize in is also important. Learn the fundamentals, absolutely, but you don't have to learn everything. And I think sometimes when you're a beginner, you probably do get overwhelmed by how much there is to learn about SEO. As an SEO, you need to have the fundamentals, but then you do also, I think, specializing in one area is kind of, I think, is the best strategy. Are you a content person? Do you really, really like writing quality content? Are you someone that's been building websites or can build websites from scratch? Is that your kind of skill set? So that means that you could probably go down the technical route. Or if you're kind of a brand, comms, or someone that studied marketing or anything like that, then you could probably go in, doing outreach and sort of content outreach and campaign and all that kind of stuff. Choose your specialism and then hone in on that after learning the sort of initial fundamentals. But first of all, think like a customer and work out how you would like Google to serve you and how you chose the top brands on Google.
Nice. I couldn't agree more. I think, yeah, it's very important to focus. You can't be successful at any SEO fields, even technical SEO takes time to learn how it works. Link building, we can divide to different strategies: PR, guest posting. I don't know. By the way, I don't use guest posting. Skyscraper, broken link building, any personalization. So yeah, I think it's important to focus, and I can feel that I'm jack of all trades because I manage people. They can beat me in one side. They can beat in everything.
Right.
But I like to cooperate with people who are much better than me. No, if they can beat me, oh, I love it. I love it. But I can learn results. I can control. I can manage. I can give some tips. But I love when someone is much better than me in
But
a
then,
special field.
but then
Yeah.
your speciality means you're a strategist. That's what that means. That means that you can take a back seat and you have the understandings, and then you can sort of help manage and sort of empower people in each area to do the best they can. And not obviously, because I love strategy, but that's another skill set, right? That's another
Yeah.
skill set that you have where you get the fundamentals. You're very tied into brand and marketing and consumerism, and then you can use that to kind of hone into all the different specialism in search. So yeah, I would say that.
Isa, it's a big pleasure to get on my show. I love it. So valuable.
Thank you for
Tell the
having me.
Yeah, I like your positive mindset. You're always smiling. So, guys, I recommend to anyone to follow Isa on social media. Tell the best way how to keep learning from you, how to reach out to you, how to follow you.
Yes, so you can follow me on Twitter, Isa Labs, or LinkedIn, or obviously I've got my own website, digiprcoms.com. Yes.
Oh, nice, guys. You can find all links in the description below. Listen us on Apple, Google, Spotify. Thanks again for your time. Love it. So valuable.
Thanks for having me. It's been
Yeah,
fun.
you know how to share valuable insights. You lead me to an emergency room. I need to spend time to think how to adapt all these new tips, guys. You need to follow Isa because I do it. I follow. I wanna get more, so I recommend to anyone to follow, to keep learning because SEO is a quickly changing. Well, if you learn something new, you will be fine. It doesn't matter. AI, competitors, you need to adapt fast. Okay, guys, love you. See you.